In all of our minds on work so far, we've been looking at scenarios that you're not actually conducting any sort of experiment in probability. You're not really flipping a coin or actually rolling the dice or actually picking a card from a deck. So we call this type of probability theoretical. In theory, if I were going to roll a dice or a die, what would I expect to appear? So theoretical probability is what we expect to happen or what should happen in theory if we were going to conduct the experiment in real life, but it isn't what actually happens. In the first situation you were given of rolling a die, you were asked what the likelihood of rolling a six is. In order to fill that in a fraction form, we use the numerator to represent how many times that event should actually occur, and the denominator would represent what the total amount of possible outcomes is. So I know that there are six sides on a die, there's numbers one through six. Six is only one of those numbers. So my numerator is 6, and the total amount of possible outcomes are a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6, which gives me 6 possible outcomes. So the likelihood of rolling a 6 is a 1 in 6 chance. To complete the rest of that second sentence there are 6 possible outcomes, and your chances of getting a 6 represent 1 out of these 6 possibilities when rolling a die. Let's look at the next one. The next one was where we are looking at a deck of cards. In order to answer the deck of cards questions, it would be really important for you to know what a standard deck of playing cards includes. So I included a link on that slide for you to go take a look if you weren't familiar with a deck of cards, but just some general good life knowledge, as well as in math class for probability, decks of cards come up a lot because cards tend to be familiar with like games of chance, which are probability related. So the first question is, what is the likelihood of picking a red card out of the deck? So in my deck, so total possible cards, so my denominator is going to be 52 in every scenario because a standard deck of playing cards has 52 cards. Out of those 52 cards, 26 of them are red. So half of my cards are red, or 0.5 or 50%. You get the gist. The likelihood of picking a heart, so out of my 52 cards, picking a heart could occur 13 out of 52 times, or 1/4, or 0.25, or 25%, because I have 4 different suits that make up my deck, and they're all evenly split, 13 cards in each suit. The likelihood of picking an ace. So again, my denominator stays 52 because I'm picking out of all 52 cards. My possibility of getting an ace, I have 4 aces in a deck, one in each suit. So my chance is a 4 out of 52, which reduces to like a 1 out of 13, which is a 8% chance about of picking an ace. And the last question, what is the chance of picking a king of spades? Well, there is only one of those out of the 52 cards in the deck, so my chance is a 1 in 52, which doesn't reduce any further, and it ends up only being about a 2% chance, and that's rounded up, that I'm going to pick a particular card out of the deck. So looking ahead to the next part of the working on it portion of this lesson, I have you conducting an at-home experiment with rolling a die. Now, if you don't have a die at home, there is a link on the page where it says use this. Right here says use this, where you can click on that and you can just roll a virtual die and use that, and that's fine. So in this particular experiment, you're going to first conduct what is the theoretical probability of the 4 scenarios occurring. And I'm asking for you to put your theoretical probability in a fraction in lowest terms, in a percentage, and in a decimal form, just because I think it's important that you understand that probability can be represented in a variety of different ways. Keep in mind the numerator should represent the possible outcomes where you are getting your desired outcome. So it's a desired outcome as the numerator, and it is the total possible outcomes as the denominator. So that's what you're going to do first. So I would calculate your theoretical probability for each of those, and then you're going to conduct experimental probability. So experimental probability is what actually happens when we conduct an experiment. So we know theoretical probability is what we expect to happen or what should happen, but experimental probability is what actually occurs when we conduct an experiment. So this is kind of the reason why, gambling is such a risk, because even if you know statistically you play a game where you should have a 1 in 4 chance of winning, you play 3 times and you've lost 3 times, theoretical probability says you should win on that first or that fourth round. But that's not always the case. Experimental probability doesn't always line up with theoretical. So I'd like you to conduct, using the virtual die or a die of your own, experimental probability of each situation. So rolling an even number, you're going to take your die and you're going to roll it 12 times. And you can keep a tally chart at home of how many of those 12 times did you roll an even number. Then you're going to put that in this section here of your table. And since you're conducting the experiment 12 times, you're going to have 12 as your denominator, and your numerator will be however many times you rolled an even number. And then you're going to reduce that into as a fraction in lowest terms. My thoughts in having 12 is that it's a high enough number that the experimental probability should be representative, but also when we're working with a die, we know theoretical probability is going to have a denominator of 6 because there are 6 numbers on a die. And if I have a denominator of 6 and a denominator of 12, I can kind of compare those fractions and see which one ended up being more likely in an easy way.